welcome back, guys, to episode 2 of Ami Athletics Talk Show. We're going to get into it. We don't have a lot of time. We're going to talk about Yom Kippur. We're going to talk about the basketball league. We're going to talk about the community. Maybe a little bit controversial, maybe not controversial, but we're going to get into it.
Yo, it's Ariel Yom Kippur, bro.
It is Erev Yom Kippur. At the time of recording this, we're not sure exactly when it's going to be released, but first of all, I want to get into the beautiful Slichos event by Ami.
Kol hakavod.
Yeah, I mean, how many people were there? Like 500 people?
550, 600.
There was 400 chairs, but there were a lot of people standing.
People standing outside.
There were people standing outside. There were people watching. I don't know how many people were watching on YouTube, but there were people watching on YouTube.
At least 1,000 views within a day.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
Really?
Yeah.
I couldn't even find parking. It was a madhouse.
It was a kid.
At least 1,000. I was watching at home. At least when I was watching, I tuned in like an hour after. It was like 800 views.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's actually very surprising. And also, shout out to Kaykov Media for the pamphlets. They got the custom Ami Athletics Slichos pamphlets.
Yeah.
The water bottles on the chair. Honestly, it was all. And even at some point, when I came in, like me and Rishi, I mean, anybody really on the board, we didn't know if there were going to be 10 people there or it was going to be full. We had no idea. Meaning there was no expectations. We had no idea. When I walked in, I saw the place was full. I was like, wow, like this nachas. Is like the community. Yeah, it was a lot of nachas. Like that, the community was coming together for slichos. Listen, at 12 o'clock at night to see so many women there who have kids at home who got babysitters to come to the slichos was very inspiring to me. Like I didn't have to find a babysitter to come. You know, so it was very special. A lot of people came. A lot of people. I mean, it ended at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, so that was very special. And yeah, so we're going into Yom Kippur now, and I mean, I want to talk about at least a little bit about what's the right. You know, like many times on especially with this background these background in the podcasts. And Rabbi Zino was saying it earlier to us before that. Oftentimes we don't utilize the voice we have, to properly express, mundane matters through a Torah lens. So whether it's community, whether it's building, whatever it is. So I think we should really first focus on, Yom Kippur is literally tomorrow night, the holiest day of the year. One of the most probably, if not the most important day of the year. So what is the right mindset? But before we get into that, I wanted to introduce our guest, Rob Koptiev.
Good to be here.
Just tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, how your relation to Ami Athletics, and how far it goes back, and yeah.
My name is Robert Koptiev. I've been playing in the Ami League, I guess Z League now for about maybe 10 years on and off.
What tier are you in?
They say tier 1, but I keep going in the second round, so I don't know. But I'm actually the most traded player in Ami history. Think about it now.
Traded?
Really? What were you traded?
You traded for me last season.
Well, I didn't trade you.
You traded your pick.
I trade up. Yeah, I traded up.
No, but you weren't actually traded.
Still a trade,
Okay.
You're saying traded up in the draft.
Still a trade.
Back to back, yeah.
Trade is a
Okay,
trade.
but beside for the basketball player,
Yeah. Besides for that, my occupation is I'm a wholesale jeweler, and I try to get involved where I can with the community. And obviously, there's a lot of beautiful things going on in the Bahrain community. When Richie told me he's doing this Ami Athletics program, I was like, okay. A lot of people have said that they're gonna try to do something, but no one's come to fruition with anything. And when he came up with the league, I was okay. Wow, it's a men's league. We were playing in the JCC 2 years ago.
you and your cousins have been playing in basketball leagues for as long as I can remember.
For a long time. And the JCC is a very well-established place. They have 2 courts, a whole system, kids coming in and out. And for 2-3 years, that JCC was hot. People were signing up. Maybe they had 7-8 teams, but it was a struggle. They would try to do a draft. And this year, for some reason, it didn't happen. And then Richie goes, do you guys want to play? I said, okay, we'll play. He goes, but I'm like, can we put our team together? Could the cousins play together like we usually do? He goes, no, it's not happening. It's an actual draft. And we're like, we want to play together. We try to play together. But when we saw what he actually did and how it filled up within an hour, it was amazing. And not only that, the building was done, the men's league was done, the youth league was done, And
So I have a question for you. Sorry to cut you off. What do you think is the most? Do you feel is the most important aspect of Ami?
Well, I think there's two main aspects of Ami. One is obviously sports, how it brings everybody together. Because when we were growing up, we didn't have a center like that. And if you look at any big community out there, sports is key. And like just me watching the videos of the what are the league, the JV and the varsity.
There's like the kids, the little kids clinic.
4 to 6 is starting. Yeah.
And then there's the junior varsity and then varsity, right? I believe.
Yeah.
So
and
there's
then men's league.
exactly there's a place for everybody, and this is within a span of 6-7 months. It's not normal. So like I tune in and I watch like these kids play, and I'm like I see a kid dropping 40 points a game, 50 points a game, 30 points a game. I'm
Like the
like
14-year-old kid, right? Little
you know,
kid.
and you can't put a picture to it because you're like okay, like growing up the stigma was that Bukharian players weren't that good and weren't that organized, but now you watch like all these videos, you're seeing it live, like wow, the youth has a future, and I think. Through sports and athletics, kids will get more confidence in yeshiva and growing, and it will build our community into a better place because realistically, when you have sports and you play sports, it has a big impact on people's lives. When I was growing up, I went to YCQ, and I was one of the only Bukharian kids to play.
How old are you, by the way?
I'm 32.
32. Okay.
32. I'm older than Zaki, believe it or not.
You're 93?
92.
92. You're
No,
older than me
I'm
also.
30.
Okay. No, he's older than me also. Okay.
So growing up, I was pretty much the only Bukharian kid in the yeshiva league, more or less. We were just talking about it before, but you would never really see Bukharian kids playing in these leagues. And I was like, what's going on? Why is that happening? So through sports, it really gives you confidence to like meet friends and grow into other communities. Like I'm friends with a lot of people, not only in the Bukharian community, but outside of the community.
Because of sports.
Exactly. And I see like what the Syrians do, what the Persians do, what the Ashkenazim do, and really their glue to making the community together is from youth. When the kids start playing sports together and being together, it really creates this cohesive unit. And through that, I see a lot of good things happening. So when I saw this league come to fruition, I was very impressed. To do all this within a matter of a year is amazing. And on top of that, the Ami board tries to put together all these events, the Slichot event, the barbecues. It's really impressive.
So some people, so I have a question for you. So some people would say, listen, Ami, you're an athletic organization, so stay in your lane. Why are you reaching into the Slichos? Why are you reaching into the Lag BaOmer thing? Like, what would you tell somebody like that, if they're saying, listen, Ami, you're a basketball league, stay in your lane?
I would say there's a bigger mission, obviously, at hand. I would say that they're trying, Richie and Elon are the guys pushing it, but they're really trying to bring the community together. I mean, the Bukharian community, we're not that old of a community here in America, and we're old, but let's be honest, we're not as
Relative to
we
others.
can't. I would listen. I personally it's whatever. This is
Relative to others.
Okay, but I do think we've been here long enough.
Yeah.
I think I personally don't like that excuse anymore. I think we have all the tools to really I think everything is set up. It's just a matter of pulling the trigger.
But it takes someone to grab it by the horns and do something like this.
Yes.
So again, you have people going to that shul. Ami, the Ami idea brings everybody together.
Yes.
Whether you go to that shul, there is no size. It's just everybody playing sports and coming together. And it's a beautiful thing. I think it has a lot of potential.
From different, So I think that's very important that you see people from. I was saying this in the first podcast. Also, you see people from different backgrounds. From all different sides of the Bukharian coin, and they really come together. Now, you guys, who in my opinion, would never cross paths.
Right.
Now, you guys have a relationship, right? I don't think you guys are, buddy in all areas of life, but you guys created a relationship, meaning I would have crossed paths with them anyway, but I was on the same team, and it created more of a relationship,
100%.
right? And I think that, that's just one small thing, but there's a lot of other small things. But
Well, obviously, the relationship has to go somewhere. There has to be a point, which is what's your point about all these programs, right? And what's the purpose? A relationship in itself is, there's some meaning, but it's kind of meaningless unless you have a bigger goal and a greater goal, right? Basketball, youth. There's obviously other areas where people need to be an organized ball, right? You have a teammate, you have to work on your midot, you have to work on being unselfish.
Right.
But at the same time, also, when we have a perspective and a Torah perspective and a growth perspective, then it makes everything so much more important, and it makes it so much more valuable. You know,
Yeah,
and that's
it's
we
funny.
have. Zino here giving us Dvar Torahs all the time on the chat. Definitely elevated the league to where it needs to be, and where the direction is going in the right place.
Bez
I think
Hashem
that's
anymore.
very important.
Much more.
It's funny. I just want to interrupt you for a second and say that listen, you had a team last season of 3 tier 1s on one team, right? But I'm gonna give a compliment to one of the guys
4 tier
from
1s.
3 tier 1s on one team.
If you count the former MVP.
So now from the 3 tier 1s,
Finals MVP.
which tier 1 had to alter their game the most, had to change their game the most so that your system can work?
Definitely Rob. Big shout out to Rob. He changed his game around a lot. I mean, I had a lot of people,
And that's
you
where I
don't
was
know
leading
this,
to, because I agree with you.
a lot of people came to me, yo, Rob is not good anymore. He doesn't know the ball. I'm like, listen, bro, this guy is playing extremely unselfish basketball right now, running the team, running it, directing, making sure everyone is happy, making sure we have a point guard, making sure guys get the ball and the ball moves. There were games where he took 3 shots, 4 shots, which is inexcusable. But when you have a system that kind of needs help and that balance, he stepped up in a big way.
So the idea was that he was able. I'm saying that's what I saw. Like from an outside perspective, it's like, okay, you see a bunch of people, that can ball and plus think they can ball, meaning it's both.
100%. I argue Rob was a top 3 defensive player last year. He shut down every team's.
Before Yom Kippur, don't. Yeah, he has to be humble.
So I'm gonna say something controversial right now.
Yeah, Gabby, you could die up there swatting everybody.
Gabby Ugudai was a blocking machine. Rob took our the best guy. I had Rob as a better defender last year than Daniel Nisanov. Very controversial statement. I think.
You're wearing a green sweater, Zaki.
He loves this. Every time I see him, I'm wearing this green sweater or a green something.
There's a reason
But
for that.
I think Gabi Hafizov was the best defender last year. But
Okay, we're going to get into the
his team
basketball talk.
sucked, so that's why. But Daniel Yusupov, listen, this is not disrespectful. He had a crazy beat last night. Mazal Tov. Daniel Yusupov and his first child.
Mazal Tov.
It was a beautiful party last night, but the reality is that when he had a good system, he was on a good team, and ultimately I think that that's why he got it. But he was top 3. I will say that.
Talent doesn't win, chemistry wins.
I coined a line. Chemistry is the best talent.
100%. I don't know if we're talking about are we off of basketball?
No, we're talking about. I'm talking about basketball now, but I'm saying you could take it in life also, that you could be good at something, but when there's a unity, when there's a chevra, when there is a community involved working together, it's more than just one person who's extremely motivated and talented. Blah blah blah. There's strength in numbers, basically.
So I just wanted to add one thing. Like, as you get older, Zaki and I are on the older side here. All of us are. When I was my teammates age, Gabby Yakubov's age, I was the same way. I would just shoot, play. Gabby Yakubov is an amazing player. But for me personally, like, everyone thought I was a ball hog, that I wouldn't move the ball. But as you get older, you just mature much more, and then you learn how to play with people, how to pass people. Your ego goes down. You learn how to play. So I think
you want to make everyone around you better.
Yes, 100%. You change, you adapt, and I think a lot of players in this league, like him, are still young and raw, and they have a lot of potential. Like, we're going to talk about the players now later.
Later, I'm saying I want to go
Okay,
into the Dvar Torah now.
Go ahead.
Before Yom Kippur, at least. I don't know where we're going to go.
Yeah, 2 days before Yom Kippur.
At least Dvar Torah. Now, after this episode, I don't know if we're going to say Dvar Torahs, but at least before Yom Kippur.
Don't worry, we'll find a way to get in there. But the Gemara says there's no greater days for the Jewish people than Yom Kippur and Tu B'Av. So Yom Kippur, I remember, there was a guy who made a statement like, Yom Kippur, Rabbi, is like a jail sentence. You do your time, you get out. You gotta sit there and shul all day. How much longer? I'm starving. Keep counting how many pages left, and when are we gonna get out of here? But God forbid we don't want that feeling. So the question is, so how is it the greatest day of the year? So how is it the happiest day for the Jewish people? So you have to realize how a person would feel if a person owed a lot of money, God forbid, or a person has a big judgment on him. And there's a tremendous weight on him, and he's crumbling under the pressure. He's crumbling under these payments. He can't make the payments anymore, and he just wants to get out of the situation. And he has the ability to come. The king himself is inviting you and telling you all you have to do is step right up Ask for your forgiveness, make amends. Let's start over, new page, new chapter in the book of your life, and let's just start over. And that's amazing. Everybody would love. How many times we started businesses. Many times we started relationships. We're like, can I just start over? I just want to start over and start on the right foot. And that's the wonderful day of Yom Kippur. And this is critical for our year, for our life. There's the highlight of Yom Kippur is also Mafti Yonah. A lot of people are very into Mafti Yonah. The Gal Miluna says something unbelievable. He says that Mafti Yonah is the whole lesson is you could look at it as a parable in a way. That Yonah is trying to he's telling you this is your mission. He's like, nah, I'm not doing that. And then he tries to run away, and God's like, I'm not gonna let you run away. And I'm gonna make a storm. You go into the fish, spit you out, and then he makes the shuvah. And that's really our life. We think we get busy with other things. We tell Hashem I don't have time right now. I'm not really into this thing right now. God, give me, slide me an excuse. Give me a hall pass. And then God says, listen, I need you in my life, and you need me in your life. And you can't run away from this. You can't run away from your life. You can't run away from me. This is a critical part of our life. And God says, listen, even though the whole year went one way, we have ability to start over now. By really, really taking this seriously and asking for forgiveness properly. And forgiveness doesn't mean just lip service. It means really, really knowing what you're saying on Yom Kippur. As the Moshe Rabbeinu asked on Yom Kippur, on Har Sinai, Hashem finally gave him forgiveness for the sin of the golden calf, and he said, Salachki Devarecha. He said, I forgave you like your word. It was very interesting. Why you say forgive you like your word? Just say, I forgave you. So the Hasidic masters explain something beautiful. He says, the way you ask from Hashem is the way Hashem forgives you. Salachti kedvarecha. The way you pray and the way you act and the way you ask for forgiveness Yom Kippur, that's how Hashem is going to forgive you. So it's all in our hands. And a lot of times also we hold it against ourselves. I know a lot of players that I used to have this also. I still do a little bit. Is they mess up, they get in their own head, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna miss the next shot, and I have pressure, and they're their own worst enemy. They don't. Nobody beats them. They lose to themselves. And a lot of times we do that to ourselves spiritually too, where we shut ourselves down, I don't know how to get up in the morning. That's it. I'm a type who never will pray on time, and I don't understand. I don't connect to shirs and to Gemara and to learning. I'm never going to be that type, And we just shut ourselves down. There's a very important thing the psychologists say. They say that in circuses they have elephants, and they tie them to a string into a little stick in the ground. And they don't run away, and it's like a crazy phenomenon. How does that happen? Tell them when they're little, they tie them to the little pole, and then the little elephant can't run away. He's too weak, and then psychologically in his mind he always thinks that I'll never be able to break the string. I won't even try. So then when he's huge, he's 2 tons, he still thinks he can't break that string. He just gives up. So a lot of times people were like that. We may have not prayed this year. We may not have learned this year. We may not have, been on the level of a religion that we wanted to be, or close to Hashem, having a relationship with Hashem. And we thought I never will. I never did. I never will. And we have to break that, and we have to not fall into that trap of the Yetzer Hara. And Hashem says, the way you try and the way you pray and the way you devote yourself, I'll devote myself to you too. And you'll see the blessing again also. So we have a tremendous ability to, wash ourselves, start over, fresh. It's all about if we put it into our head. And then that's why Yom Kippur is so special. Starting anew and being able to rekindle your real relationship with Hashem, because Hashem says, I'm not going to let you go. I'm not going to let you, I'm going to get your attention. I'm going to knock on your door. Sometimes we suffer. Sometimes he sends us calling cards by, different things that happen to us. But we have to realize this is an opportunity. Hashem's knocking on the door. We have to take it. And this is the greatest day of the year, that we're able to have just that fresh start. So hopefully we'll be able to overcome our demons, overcome whatever it is, come clean. Hashem says the one who's humble and admits, he's forgiven. The Goyim, they teach us, hide it, you keep it under the carpet. Don't let anybody know about your problems. God says, no, let's talk about it. Let's get it over with. Let's talk. Let's go through it and admit our mistake and really, really, really make amends. B'ezrat Hashem, we should all zocheh to mechila, slicha, chapara, and through this, B'ezrat Hashem, we'll have our year full of blessing and atzlacha, and that's very important with community also in regards to forgiving one another. God forgives us every year. We have to forgive all another. Even through basketball, we may have our ups and downs. There'll be players who talk smack and yell and say, who are you and whatever it is, and I'm here and I'm this, I'm that. But at the end of the day, we all love each other, and we all have to realize we're one, and we're all kids of Hashem, and we're all connected to Hashem, and we're all part of one people, So we're brothers and sisters. We have to forgive each other before Yom Kippur, and this unity. And it will help build the community to all the other things that are missing, And Robert was mentioning the other day how we have to make sure that, we get a infrastructure for our community, and the sports and the league is one of those, critical things that builds unity. And with unity, you can build to everything else. Look how Ami is like a stage to build so many things and attach to Ami. Like, for example, another community has this thing called the One Fund, right? The One Fund is like everybody gets together, gives tzedakah the same place, and there's a board that everybody elected and everybody believes in, and then whatever the community is missing, we put money towards that. Let's say there's people who are struggling to make tuition, so this One Fund addresses that issue, and they try to turn money towards that. Let's say all of a sudden the community says we need another supermarket in the community, So we turn money towards that if it's a good cause, and then if there's a sports complex that needs to be built, we turn money towards that. There's not enough Judaikas, there's not enough Tznius stores, whatever it may be, because there's already a unit of people together, unity, and we look past our differences and we say, listen, what does make a difference? That kippah, as long as we're together and we're peaceful and we understand that we have to do something good together. So we'll look past all those differences. We get stuff done because the Yetzirah, what does he want us to do? Focus on the details. I don't know, but he's like this, he's like that. Green team, blue team, teal team, yellow team. We can't really be friends. But in Ami Athletics, we're all friends. The game's over. We all hug, kiss, make up, and we said that was a good time. I'm happy.
The season's over. We all go to different teams.
Yeah.
With people that we were good.
I played against them in the playoffs, and I lost them. But now we're on the same team. So at the end of the day, we have to remember that, and deep in our mind, we're all the same team. We're all the same team. The question is, do we forget the bigger goal and focus on the nitpicky, or do we?
So here's the
realize the bigger goal?
Here's my question.
Yeah.
Here's my question. Okay, so you talk a lot about unity, and I believe in strength in numbers, and you talk about the One Fund. So now talking about the Bukharian community, what steps would you take, or this is for everybody really? What steps should we take? Because I believe that we have a lot of different organizations doing amazing things, but really to bring everyone together and to start really collectively putting an effort to build infrastructure. So now the question is, okay, so how do we bring everyone together? So now I think Ami Athletics is one very, very good. Sports brings people together. Okay, so that's one thing. Now, we're bringing everyone from different shul affiliations, which is like different gangs, like coming together and playing in different sides of there's the Forest Hills, there's the Main Street, there's Jamaica Estates, Fresh Meadows, whatever it is. So now how do you, Ami Athletics is a very, very good step. So what other steps or what other things do you think we can do as a community to really build the unity? Now, one thing I'm thinking of is that a lot of times, like by the Hasidim, a lot of times Bukharians get compared to the Hasidim, right? Because we have very strong traditions where we can be very old school minded in a good way and in a bad way. But one thing that Hasidim have that the Bukharians do not have is that leadership. They have a Rebbe. The Rebbe, if the Rebbe says we're all moving to Zimbabwe and we're establishing there, everybody's getting up and moving to Zimbabwe, right? So now, I see it as a positive, right? Rabbi Walken, was the one that was saying that they were the ones who brought Hatzalah to Borough Park. They were the first the organization or whatever, Hasidus that came together, and they really brought the idea of Hatzalah is free, right? They were the ones that came. They brought it here. They have a lot of gemachs, a lone gemach. A lot of the ideas came from them because of how unified they are under one leader, and their Hasidim, the Rebbe's Talmidim will throw the money, whatever. So my question is that all it takes? What, I don't know.
I think we're moving in the right direction. If you look at how many things happened in the past 5 years, that are, first of all, Ami Athletics, right? This league, basketball league, bringing everyone together. You have community, shuls, everyone in one place. When you have everyone in one place, it's already a starting point. Hasidim is a little different because Hasidim, you have one sect which has one rabbi. In a regular Litvish place, you have different communities, different shuls, different rabbis who say different things, and they kind of go together, but they have their differences, which is what Torah is all about. So I think, again, the main thing is to have... There has been a lot of stuff that has been going on in different areas. You have the what do you call that? The toy drive Richie's doing, the shoe drive.
For all those sick kids.
We have this league, obviously, of course. You have lone gemachs being started, Yad L'Chael, Ilan Shamsiev. a lot has been going on behind the scenes, different shuls. We have Rabbi Yona's shul, 2 years already. We just had on Rosh Hashanah around 70 guys, just from 2 years.
We don't need more shuls.
But what he's doing, Rabbi Yonah is doing, is focused on learning and growth, not just a shul. So we are starting. We are the earliest. I know you said we've been here for a while, but we are in a sense the earliest. Or we've been here. We came later than any
The
other
latest
sect.
immigrants, yeah.
Exactly. Syrians have been here since the 20s. Even earlier. Ashkenazim, obviously, since the revolution. But we have a lot of people. But I wanted to say to your point when you mentioned about the memory about Yom Kippur, about forgetting the past and moving forward. One of the most important talents and characteristics an NFL quarterback has, especially when it comes to drafting them, they call it short-term memory. Which sounds like a bad thing. But because in the NFL, you make a bad throw, it's like this that happens, and then it just sticks in your head.
Right.
Did I overthrow, did I underthrow, defense, what they're playing, a blitz, cover 2, cover 1. It's just so complicated, and it really messes you up, So do you have that ability to have that short-term memory? And I think, this is a hot take right now, I think
We're gonna clip this, Zaki.
Tier 3s and Tier 4s and Tier 5s in our league are categorized by their short-term memory, meaning there's enough talent. A lot of players have enough talent, especially Tier 3, Tier 4, Tier 5. You see them in Park Drive. You see them in parks dominating, bowling out, leading a team. And when it comes to a 5-on-5 bowl, you miss a 3, you miss another 3, and then all of a sudden you're like...
You went cold.
You go cold and you just, you
start
look for an
beating yourself
assist.
up.
And you pass the ball. Like last year I had a game. I went, they left me wide open. It was embarrassing, honestly. Online. They left me wide open. It was a 4-on-4. They put Tom on me. They left me wide open and he played center on a 4-on-4. I was getting I had 10 seconds to shoot a 3 and every single one missed. I was so embarrassed.
It happened on my team also, but yeah,
it happens. But the next game I recovered, but that game I didn't recover. It was just so hard to make that change. So I think that is what separates Tier 3s, Tier 4, Tier 5s. So all you guys listening out there, wherever the camera is.
Next play up.
And don't forget. And I have a question for you, Rob, before we head out.
Before you go to that, I think to add on to your point here about where the community is going, like the older generation and this generation there's a big difference. Like
that's where Bridge the Gap came in.
No, I'm saying
it is true though. Different mindsets that we're more American. We're learning. We went to Ashkenazi schools. It's different.
You have a lot of like-minded guys here that are willing to put things together and make the community the changes that we need. Like you see all these podcasts about bridging the gap, about this, there's a bunch, whatever. But it's really showing that the community is trying to go into the right direction and not be like one of those communities that they were here for 10, 20 years and they break apart and one goes here, one goes there. Like we're striving to make it a better community and growing and doing things. And if you look at the age group of 20 to 40, there's so many like-minded guys that have great ideas and have the backing to do things, and that if we have the right leadership with the Rebbes and the people and there's a unity, sky's the limit. We can build
100%.
Create amazing infrastructure, better than Brooklyn, better than anywhere else. It's a matter of time. And I think this first step that the AMI group did, it really shows everyone, you know what, they jumped into the water first, so I think the future is bright.
The only thing that we need to make this to further this is to make a common understanding, meaning every minyan, let's say, has this discussion. How do we get the rabbi and the congregants connected? How do we get everybody on the same page? We need a common ground. We need to respect the rabbi. We need them to value him. They need them to see his vision. We need them to just flow with him, to jump on his wagon, let's say, right? And we need the community members to jump on each other's wagon and to be on the common understanding, see each other's vision and say, yeah, I have that vision too. I see what you're doing here. I want that also. I didn't realize that we're all trying to say the same thing. And a lot of times people have different ways of looking at things, and then really we're trying all to get to the same place. It's just two different roads.
So that's actually what I was going to ask you, by the way.
Right.
What's the goal? Meaning, we're talking a lot about building. What are we building to?
The vision, the goal, the end goal is that our community, for the next generation, everybody has instilled in them Torah values. Everybody in them understands the idea of community and unity. And when someone's down, we're there, right there for them. And no matter where you're from, whether you live here, you live there, as long as you're with this community, we're supporting you. And like this, the idea of a person trying to be successful in his life. Everybody goes through ups and downs and hardships and difficulties. And when you do it alone, it's hard. But when you have a community, meaning when you're down spiritually, but you have a community that offers so many things spiritually to help you, pick you up, or when you're down physically, financially or health-wise or whatever it may be, you have a community that also offers so much infrastructure to help for that also. Like there's people who don't have how to make chag, and there's people who don't have, someone to teach their son that he needs tutoring in, and they don't have, somebody is missing a connect for, they need a certain doctor for a certain medical condition they have, and somebody needs a loan, and somebody needs someone to help them. What school does my kid belong to? And all these small little things that, if more like-minded people get together, it's just not even money sometimes. It's just volunteering. People to care and say, you know what? Each person would go to their rabbi of their shul and say, listen, I'm donating half hour of my time, an hour of my time a week. Rabbi, tell me what to do. Tell me what I need to get involved with. And now you have another volunteer. You can give another task to do. And that builds that just. You have, on flyers, you put a phone number, someone you could call for more info. Just even if you have a guy like that who just answer the phone and guide people somewhere, that
the volunteering.
Yeah, just the volunteering.
That's how Hatzalah started. That's how Chaverim started. That's how all these organizations start.
So if you were to put it in one sentence, and because you said a lot of things on things that help the community grow, right? Variables that help the community grow. So if you could put it in one sentence, then where are we growing to? Where are we headed towards?
We're headed towards a place, or trying to head a place where the Bukharan community cares not only about themselves but everyone around them. That's what we're trying to get to.
But also Yirah Shamayim and being close to Hashem.
The Torah values 100%. Torah values 100%.
You can make the argument that you really own. I mean, this is not me, but you can really make an argument that. Actually, no, I'm not going to say it.
The point is like
be careful.
People when you do business,
hand in hand. When you're working with someone else and you're helping the community, and you're not just doing it to help the community, but you also have a goal in mind also to be close to Hashem. Because again, one of the things Hashem wants us to do is to help each other out.
100%. Right?
So we help each other out. A lot of volunteer work, and obviously a lot of Torah growth. Before we head out, we have to ask a very, very important question to Rob.
A few questions.
Mr. Rob Koptiev, ex-teammate of mine. You are on the black team, arguably the best team last season. I think the injury to Mike Elishayev was a turning point in the season for them. He was not the same. The team wasn't the same afterward. They were the juggernaut. They were the team to beat. Obviously, Jason, the best player to ever play in the Z League. My question to you is, your current team, are you better this year or are you worse than last year?
Orange team?
No. Is the black team this year better than last year's team or worse?
Well,
and don't say yes because I know it's a yes, but I want to know why.
Well, according to you, it's a step back. But according to me...
Wait, what do you mean according to me? I didn't say anything.
According to your power rankings.
No, he had to.
Rankings last year. I had you guys.
By the way, I just want to say something. A lot of people in the league were texting me upset about the power rankings. The power rankings have nothing to do with me. It's not my opinion. Yes. It's Zaki's opinion.
Guys, I already spoke about
commented.
This.
People were texting me upset at me.
Email.
If you have a problem, email richierich@gmail.com.
We're gonna put it on the bottom of the screen.
I received like 5-6 emails that I already responded to. So if you do have an issue, this is not communism. Speak your mind. Send your request. Richie Rich. I'm not going to spell it because I don't know the spelling.
Okay, we don't have a lot of time.
Figure
We're
it
just
out.
going to go
to answer your question.
But anyways, Rob,
Rabbi,
do you think your team is better this year than last year?
You had we had the first scrimmage against you. What did you think? Put it that way. How was our chemistry? How was our flow? What did you see?
Yuri was hitting that night. He was on fire. You guys really meshed. I don't know where it came from. You guys didn't play together. It was like the few times you played together. Unbelievable. Was
there a flow?
Yeah, 100%.
Bro, you know what you just pulled
they
off?
Ran us
like
the
a
first
CNN
game, they ran us to the court.
Just answer the question.
Yeah, you have to answer the question.
You just deflected it to him. You let him
talk his cheap.
You to answer
talk
the
his
question.
cheap. That's why.
Okay, but we want to hear.
We have one witness.
You want to hear your opinion
I want to hear
first.
your opinion. Obviously you're replacing Mike Elishayev, okay.
So I think this year personally, like we're talking about our team last year versus this year, the flow is very smooth. Like we move the ball very well, we cut, we go after the boards, we push. We're a very fast team. Between Jason, Johnny, and myself, we're flying
They have a lot of IQ this year.
Yeah. The
So
fact-
you think you're going to be a better off team this year?
I think, look, it all starts from the top. I think Jason is a very unselfish player.
Well, he
And-
was like that last year also.
No, but even last year when the team was a weaker team,
So you're saying this year is a better
Respectfully.
team. I mean, listen, one thing you guys had last year was you pushed the ball, which you're going to do again this year. You have the guards, which you had last year also. Last year you had the Twin Towers.
right?
So you played a 3 up top zone, 3 guys up top, 2 guys down
Yeah,
low,
rebounding is not a problem for
and
us.
it was fine. But if you're going to be up top, who's down low? So then you have Yuri.
I'm down low.
Oh, so you're not playing the 3 up top.
No,
You're
I'm
switching
playing
that
down
up.
low. Where
I got it.
My natural position is a 3-4, so I can play.
So you guys are going to, because last year your defense was a 3-2.
And you're gonna have
Black,
Yuri playing the
that's-
top.
That's because of the way they're put together. But this year it's a different team. It's a
So
whole.
we're gonna see some adjustments. I hear.
Who do you think is going to be the biggest surprise, from the
Black?
league? From the league.
Hold on, just to add on, I think Abe and Johnny are sleepers, and obviously Yuri. But Abe,
We've heard that.
Yeah, we heard that many
Abe
times.
can grab boards. Johnny can push and defend. He's very feisty. So I think it's a very good formula. David, Richie, they fit their part as well. So
Would you say Abe's a better rebounder than Elon Lishayev?
yeah,
So that's a big deal. Elon
Sure.
Lishayev is a great rebounder.
he can fly. That kid can get boards.
Wow.
And you can lob it to him.
That's a scary
Richie
team.
has some videos of him taking lobs. So it's a we're a pretty fast team. Like talk is cheap. We'll see. We'll see November 4th.
He doesn't want any of that eye, you know?
Yeah.
Talk is cheap. That's the
Arab Yom
maturity you
Kippur,
have.
it's a
What's
bad-
your final record? What's your record?
What type of
13
game?
games.
That depends on health. I think if we're healthy and everyone's there and no one's missing games, I don't want to say 13-0, but
You
maybe
can say that. That's
You
fine.
can say that.
maybe 11-2.
We'll write it down if you say it, but
I mean, we were supposed to go be 9-0 last year, so that didn't pan.
we were close.
That didn't pan out. But yeah, I think it doesn't matter what our record is in the season. I think by time we have 13 games, I think by time the playoffs come in, I think we'll have something special based off of our first few games. We had a scrimmage yesterday. It was a little bit sloppy because half our team wasn't there. I hurt my back. I was pretty much out. So things happen, and you have to learn how to. Sometimes the bad is good because you get to learn from it. So like even last year, we went 0-3 in the first 3 games. It was the best thing that happened to us. Because if we would have won those first 3 games, we would have just thought it's all
I think
okay.
we went 6-2 after.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's actually very interesting. I was reading an article, and I'm probably gonna misquote this, but it was actually a very interesting article. I sent it to my team during the season. They did a study in University of Michigan, and they tracked it over 3 seasons between college basketball and the NBA, and they found that teams that touch the most over 3 seasons. I'm gonna botch quoting this, so anyone who wants to fact check me, you should look it up. University of Michigan did the study.
They're gonna pull it up.
We're gonna hopefully we'll pull it up if I can find the article. But they did a study that they tracked, I think, over 60 teams, and the teams that touched the most, meaning handshakes, hugs, touching at the free throw line, high fives, did better overall win percentage wise. I mean, barring, let's say, if the team is really not good, they're not going to do better than a team that is really good. But they statistically, teams that, and they tracked them over a few seasons, that if the team was, let's say, 5-5, when they started focusing on touching more or just being more physical
some
with
love.
each other, showing some love, they did better statistically.
Wow.
Which I think is a very, very crazy thing, because what does it make a difference if I give my teammate a high five after a bad play or after a good shot?
The power, I believe
why
in you.
why should that result in more wins over a certain amount of time?
100%.
Which I think is a crazy stat.
There you go, guys. The secret to Green Team and all of Ari's unexplained hugs last year. There it is. Final question for all of you guys. Did the Knicks win the trade or did they lose the trade?
Comment below.